Hey guys, it's me, Lewis Hamilton, and today we're going to be doing something pretty different. We're going to be looking at an Zelda 64 iceberg. This one in particular was made by Darknut342 on Reddit. I'm just going to be doing the ones that I know, or like the things on the iceberg that I know. If I don't know them, I'll try and do what I can tell about them. Anyways, on with the top of the iceberg, with the first one, which is Secret Rupees. This one to me could only seem like Ocarina of Time one, where above the bridge to going into Hyrule Castle Town, there are some invisible rupees. Three invisible, I believe, red rupees that you can collect. I believe they just respawn every time you load into the area. It's a pretty simple one to start with. And the next one, Deku Tree Sprout. This also seems like another Ocarina of Time one, and I believe it is. When you beat the inside of the Deku Tree, which is the first dungeon of Ocarina of Time, the Deku Tree dies, and I believe it's either if you come back there as Adult Link, or it's directly after. I believe it's directly after a smaller Deku Tree pops up, which is believed to be the successor of, which is the successor of that Deku Tree, and is also by some thought to be the Deku Tree seen in Wind Waker, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, this next one I don't know. Forest Temple New Music. I don't know what this one could be alluding to. I assume at some point in development the Forest Temple music must have been different. If I can find out anything about it, I'll probably pop it on screen as text. But I don't know. I've not heard anything about that. But yeah, anyway, but the one underneath it I do know, Deku Battler's Son, which is a Majora's Mask one, which is how the Deku Battler in the Deku Palace, he mentions that if you talk to him after doing the maze chase thing with him after beating the Swamp Temple, he will tell you that it reminds him of being with playing with his son, who is by many up to that point was believed to have been a little almost dead looking tree that you see on the way to Clocktown at the very beginning of the game, and then got confirmed in Hyrule Historia to be the Deku Battler's son as well, which pretty dark, but that's just Majora's Mask, I guess. Another Majora's Mask one, the Fourth Day. This will be because in really early concepts for Majora's Mask, it was actually believed that it was going to be a 7-day cycle thing before it was even a Zelda game, I believe. It was meant to be a 7-day cycle, and but in the final game you can bug it so that you can get a 4th day, which I believe the third is basically, I'm pretty sure, just a repeat of the 3rd day, I believe. I don't know how you activate it. I'm pretty sure it's something to do with the Ocarina, but yeah. Another one, Ghost Hunter. This is an Ocarina of Time one about the Poe collector, I believe, who you find as Adult Link inside the pot room. Yeah. And he just wants you to give him Poes. I mean, that's just like his whole thing. I believe he gives you rupees for them. But yeah, he's also believed to either be the little kid in Kakariko Village or the guard that's in there as Child Link. We have, well, what ones do we have here? We got another one from Ocarina of Time, the R-Wing, which 20 Star Fox fans would know that's the ship flied in that game. But it was used in Ocarina of Time to test the flight patterns for Vargia, who is the boss of the Fire Temple in that game. But you can still find them inside the game and inside the game's files, which I think is pretty cool. Another one that I don't know is Mario. Oh wait, actually, yeah, I do know this one. The Mario cameo. I do know this one. This one is in reference to when you're in the room where you first meet Princess Zelda as Child Link. If you look out one of the windows, I don't know which one it is, but I know if you look out one of the windows, you'll see some pictures of some artwork, I believe used for Mario 64, which must have just been an Easter egg from the devs, because I believe Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time were developed around the same time. So that's pretty cool. And this next one kind of links straight on from that one. Nintendo 64 DD Lost Concepts / Ura. I know exactly what this one is. This one is about the Lost Ura Zelda, which was a N64 disk drive game, / N64 DD. And this, I believe, Ura Zelda was basically Ocarina of Time, but all the dungeons were changed and differed and that, and a couple added things here and there that they wanted to do. And this is believed to have turned into the Master Quest for Ocarina of Time, which I also would agree with. So yeah, and next one also kind of goes on from that concept stuff. Mario 64 shared concepts / ideas. This one to me personally, this one could only be how a lot of the textures were shared between early builds of those games. Like how the wet dry world in Mario 64 has beta door textures from Ocarina of Time. Other than that, I can't think of anything. If it pops back to me whilst I'm editing this, I will put it on screen, but I can't think of anything as of recording this. Boy in the Graveyard. Boy in the Graveyard, I do know. This is about the Kakariko boy who spends his all the time at daytime in the graveyard. While Dampé isn't in the graveyard, he is there, and he wants to be like Dampé. He is one of the ones who is believed to be the Poe Collector. I personally think it's a person in the night in the same room as the Poe Collector would be in. But I guess it's all up to interpretation by whoever plays. Iron Knuckles are Gerudo thieves. I know this one. So basically, in Ocarina of Time, the Iron Knuckles, you have one fight with the Iron Knuckles where when you defeat it, all the armor falls off, and I can't remember the name, but it is one of the Gerudos. And if you clip the camera inside the head of all the Gerudo, not all the Gerudos, of all the Iron Knuckles in Ocarina of Time, you will see that same model of the Gerudo inside. So that's led people to believe that all the Iron Knuckles are Gerudos inside. Blue Cuckoo, I know this one. This one is about one of the trading quests in the game, in which you get given a Blue Cuckoo. That Blue Cuckoo belongs to Grog, who believes that, who is sad because his cuckoo stopped crowing, and he believes I believe it's something like he'll only crow for someone who has a kind heart or something along the lines of that, and Link manages to get him to crow, which leads Grog to believe that Link must be a nice person and all that. After that, you never see Grog ever again. And the final one on the top, Rauru/Aru. I don't know what this one is. I know who Rauru is. He is the light sage from Ocarina of Time, and I assume this must be, I guess, maybe Aru must have been a beta name for him, I guess, I don't know, because I've never had that name be thrown around. But again, if I can find anything, I'll put it on screen now. So, with the top bit of the thing done, I think we'll go on to the second bit, just below the surface, and continue on. Okie dokie, guys. We're back onto the second layer, starting with El is Real in Dodongo Cavern. This one to me can only be one thing, and that is the elusive El is Real 2401, I believe. Single lines that. That texture from Mario 64 being present in Dodongo's Cavern. Someone who's played Dodongo's Cavern, I don't remember ever seeing it, but very much could be there. I know it's in the graveyard. So yeah. And the next one, Cuckoo in Observatory. This is a Majora's Mask one. It's about the cuckoo that is present in the observatory on Termina Field. There's just a cuckoo, for some reason, in a cage in the basement of the observatory. What the man in the observatory is doing to that cuckoo, no one will know. But yeah, it's there. Next one, Running Man. This one's pretty obvious. This one is about the running man who you first meet, or you can see his child Link running across Hyrule Field, and then as an adult you can find him in the tent by the Gerudo Fortress in Gerudo Valley. And he cannot be beaten, despite what many people think. He can never be beaten. He's never been beaten. He will always at least beat you by a second. No matter how you do it, even if you turn back time or if you do whatever, he will always beat you. Then Kakariko Archery Blindfolded. This must be about how people have tried doing the Kakariko Village archery minigame for a while now, and I believe only one person has beaten it blindfolded, hitting all the rupees. I believe only one person has done it. I wish I knew their name. But unfortunately I don't. Navi Diving. I don't know this one, unless it's about maybe when you dive underwater, maybe Navi does or doesn't follow you. I guess it makes sense if Navi didn't follow you, because wings and all. But I don't know. That's one that I honestly don't know. I'm going to be honest, I would almost rather misread that as Navi dying, because I'm sure that's something I've heard be chucked around a couple times, because of how Navi just kind of ups and leaves after Ocarina. You never know what happens. Windmill / Grave Connections. This one must be... Oh, I know this one. Okay. So in Ocarina of Time, in Kakariko Village, there is the windmill, with the windmill person with their... I don't know what the instrument's called. Gramophone? I think it's a gramophone, something like that. Basically, in the windmill there is a direct connection to Danpei's grave. And only Danpei's grave. But I don't know why it's there. But it's there. So that must be what it's about. House of Skulltula. This would be about, in Kakariko Village in Ocarina of Time, there is a house that is almost within Kakariko Village turned into a house of legend, because it had a family of rich people in it who got hit with the spider's curse and now are all turned into Skulltula. And the only way to save them in Ocarina of Time is by collecting the golden Skulltula tokens, which I can't be bothered to collect. So yeah. Another one that I know, Adult Link Mask. This, I believe, is about the in Majora's Mask there was a Link Mask in early preview footage and gameplay of the game from trailers and that all these trailers we never saw it be used, but you could see it in like the C buttons. It had an Adult Link Mask, or a Link Mask, which has been theorized to turn Link into Adult Link and allow him to use his Adult Link items. But as many people who've played Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask would know, Link can use all items, no matter what Link, like whether he's young Link or Adult Link, it doesn't matter. In fact, in Majora's Mask, you can't even be Adult Link. You're just always young Link, or Deku Link, or Zoro Link, or Goron Link, or Fierce Deity Link. Okay, what's next? Romani Ranch sign. This is another Majora's Mask one. This will be about how at Romani Ranch there is a sign, and I believe that sign is the same sign, same texture and everything, that is used for the entrance to Kakariko Village. So if you translated the sign, it would say, I believe it says Kakariko Village on it, not Romani Ranch. Mirinda commercial, I believe that says. Sorry, I'm looking at a photo I took on my phone of the image, of the image, because I couldn't read it off my TV from here. But yeah, Mirinda commercial. This must have been some sort of partnership Nintendo did with a company of some sort. I don't know what this Mirinda is. I've heard of a couple commercials from that era, like unless it's the one where Link gets, I can't remember what it is, it's like an orange drink and he just can't stop drinking it. Might be that one, I can't remember. Commercials is not my strong point when it comes to video games. What's this one? Gossip Stone, I think it says Explosion. Oh wait, there's one here I've skipped. Malon's Wife. Now this one, I only learned about this quite recently actually. This one is in reference to if you go to talk to Malon, no, not Malon, I'm thinking of a different thing. This is in reference to how I believe in Majora's Mask people have theorized, is it Malon? No, because Malon's the little one. I don't know then, I'm thinking of loads of different things. Oh no, it is Malon. No, yeah, Malon's the dude. Yeah. I'm just getting my characters mixed up now. But Malon, if I'm remembering this correctly, this is about how Malon, if you talk to him with the Gerudo mask on in Ocarina of Time, he will for a second say, "You look like my wife," and then follow up with, "Actually, on second thought, no, you don't look like my wife. Which has caused many people to theorise that Malin, if I'm remembering this correctly, if it is Malin that I'm thinking of, was married a Garuda, which would explain a lot of stuff about Talon, I believe. Pretty sure I'm correct. Unreachable Heartpiece. This is one that I do know. Okay, so as Child Link in Ocarina of Time, if you get captured, which you, I believe, cannot do as Child Link, because you can't get to the Gerudo Fortress, but if you somehow did, then on the exit, at the exit of the cell, where you would usually have to hookshot to get out of, there is a heart piece. This is an unobtainable heart piece that you cannot get at any point in the game because it's not there as Adult Link and you can't get captured or use the hookshot as Child Link. Overture of Sages. This is another one I know. So, back when Ocarina of Time, we have a bit of a history lesson, back when Ocarina of Time was in development, there was a bit of footage from some of the old commercials and preview gameplay and that showed Link getting the Triforce. This, upon release, sparked loads of rumours and that about obtaining the Triforce, because that was kind of the thing you did in like every Zelda game except for Ocarina of Time. And one very believed rumour was one that would require him to play an unused song, or a song that was like according to the rumour, like secret and that and in the game, but you never got it until you started doing all this, but it was never in the game, called the Overture of Sages, which I believe was a warp song that would take you to the Sacred Realm, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was. Obviously it's not in the game, it's not an actual song. A lot of the stuff from like old rumours were fake. Next one. Okay guys, we're back. I don't know what I'm saying, we're back. It's Otkorok. I have no idea what this one is, to be honest. I've never heard of this, and never do I want to, really, let's be honest. Fierce Deity. I know this one. Fierce Deity is just... well, the Fierce Deity is a mask. Well, the Fierce Deity mask, at least, is a mask from Majora's Mask that you get from one of the people on the moon. If you trade in all your other masks that aren't main game required to be transformation masks with the other people on the moon. And this is the most powerful mask in the game. You can only use it in boss fights, and it allows you to absolutely wail on Majora, the final boss of the game. And yeah, I don't think there's much else to be said. Dampé's Fate. I don't really know this one, Dampé's Fate, because he does die. He does die in Ocarina of Time. He does die, but you never learn how. I guess maybe that's what this one's about. It's about how we don't know how he died. Because you the way you get the hook shot in the game is by racing his ghost. You race his ghost after going into his grave, and then you get the hook shot from him as a reward for beating him. I don't know what else there is to that one, but yeah. Ranch Alien Invasion. Well, this one's a very good one. So this one is about how on, I believe it's the second night, I believe, of the cycle in Majora's Mask, Romani Ranch gets attacked by some aliens. These aliens in-game are just referred to as them. And they are trying to get the cows. Why? Nobody knows, but it's based off of, like, I believe it was like a livestock shortage or something like that in Japan. Or at least the fact that they want the cows, I believe, is based off something like that. And the design is based off of the Flatwoods monster, which is a old, I guess, tale, as you would, about monster. Is there much more to say? But yeah. And if you fail to protect the ranch, they take the cows and Romani. And then when the next day, when Romani is back, somehow she seems really confused and just in pain. It's not good. It's really not good. Okay. Who't is next? Let us see. Beta Fire Temple Music. I know this one. It's not really beta though. So basically, in the version 1.0 and 1.1 versions of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, there was some chanting in the Fire Temple music, which was removed in subsequent versions of the game. So in versions 1.2 and all versions after that, so the GameCube, Virtual Console, and 3DS versions of the game, it's not in them. Because it's removed, or it was presumably removed for two different reasons. Because it was, apparently, from what I've heard, it was Islamic chanting that was put in there from a sample disc and that, which has been theorised to either have been removed because they were worried about potential backlash from having it in, or because I believe Nintendo have a no religious symbols or anything like that, or religious references in their content rule, which we'll pick up on later, because I believe there's something else about that later on the iceberg. I don't know if it's in this layer though. So, Gossip Stone's Destroyable. This one is about how, I believe if you hit the Gossip Stones, I'm pretty sure, with the Megaton Hammer, then they will have a short countdown before rocketing up into the sky to never be seen again. And you can do some other things like shooting them with fire arrows, using Din's fire or ice arrows, and they have different reactions and responses. I believe if you hit them with your sword, they tell you the time, and that is all present in Ocarina and Majora's Mask, I'm pretty sure. Forest Temple is Hyrule Castle. This one is one I actually find really interesting, because the Forest Temple is kind of almost like a rundown, or at least to me it seems like a very rundown castle or fortress, and this idea kind of just stems from that, how it looks like a rundown fortress sort of thing. People theorize that it used to be Hyrule Castle. Obviously before Ocarina of Time, I'm pretty sure the only game we've seen Hyrule Castle in is Link to the Past. So I guess the theory must be that I guess at the time it would have been that it was the one from Link to the Past, but now it would be that it's most likely the one from Skyward Sword, But I don't know. I haven't looked into that one that much. I just know the theory, and I think it's a really good theory. It's a lot like the Snow Peak Mountains, Twilight Princess theories, and all that. I like those ones. They're very interesting. Fado. I believe he's one of the Kakiri. I believe this must have been about how... Yeah, I believe Fado was meant to be the Sage of Shadow before it was Impa, which would have been very weird seeing a Kakiri as the Sage of Shadow in Ocarina. I personally feel that he was never meant to be. It would have just been a placeholder. I think he was just a placeholder in the game as the Sage of Shadow. He was never actually intended to be the Sage of Shadow, I personally feel, because I don't think the Kakiri would fit that role. Ganon's horse. This one is a very easy one. In Ocarina of Time, as Adult Link, you can get Epona if you learn Epona's song as Child Link. But if you do just try to leave with Epona, Ingo, who now owns the farm, will refuse to let you take Epona because he claims that he was going to give that to Ganondorf. So he will hold you inside Romani, or not Romani Ranch, Lon Lon Ranch, until he doesn't let you go. You eventually end up vaulting over the side if you do actually want to leave, but that leaves the question of then what is Ganon's horse then? It's been theorised that it is also one of the ones on Lon Lon Ranch. But I don't know. Next one, Earth and Wind Temple. Okay, this one is another easy one. In Ocarina of Time, if you look at the medallions for the Wind Temple and... Well, not for the Wind Temple, for the Forest Temple and... I don't know what other temple, but I know the one for the Forest Temple at least. It looks more like a fan sort of thing, and if you go in Ganon's castle, the Forest Temple related section is more wind based, so it's led people to believe that the Forest Temple was originally meant to be a wind temple in the game. But I don't know, I like the idea that it was. I don't know the next one, so we'll skip it. No statues in Forest Temple, does that say? I think that's what it says. Or something like that. I've got no idea, to be honest. Some of these I don't honestly know. I mean, the Reddit post Lou just said, most of these I don't know. Does anyone know? So yeah. This last one I've got, yes, I can give an idea of what this one is. The last one. Gerudo race gone after Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. This one must just be suggesting that the Gerudo are gone after Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I mean, you don't even see them in Majora's Mask, I don't think. Maybe you see like a couple here and there, but you don't really see them as prominently as you do in Ocarina of Time. I don't think they're in Twilight Princess, because in Twilight Princess it's the woods, Farron Woods, Eldin, which is Goron's. Then you got the Zora. But yeah, I mean they're back in Breath of the Wild, so clearly they're not gone because they're in Breath of the Wild. They had to be somewhere. But I don't know. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like if you want to see more, because I will gladly do another episode covering the next 2 parts of the iceberg. I do enjoy going through and just kind of almost testing my knowledge on Zelda, on like Zelda 64 rumors, because this is the part of like Zelda I know the most about. And there's so many things, like so many of these I don't know, like just in those first 2 I didn't know some of them, which I wasn't expecting, so can't wait. And yeah, also hope you like the upped quality, because I got a new mic. I like it. I think it sounds really nice. So if it was quiet, I'm still getting a bit used to like trying not to have to like trying not to look away from the mic, because it's a supercardioid mic, so it can only pick up the sound like directly in front of it, not all around it. So yeah, and I am also holding the mic because I felt like it'd be fun to do it like that, and just listening back to little bits here and there, you actually can't really tell too much that I'm holding it, but I thought it would help me keep it in front of me so it's more consistent volumes throughout. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day.